Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence. How are you? Hope you're doing good. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today we are speaking with a very special music legend on the line. His latest record came out last year with a little help from my friends. He is regarded as one of the most important horn players ever. He's one of, if not the most well-known trombone player in music history. He is a crucial ingredient in the JBs. He helped make James Brown's band one of the tightest groups ever in music. This visionary band leader, composer, and gifted communicator is also known for his years partnered with sax great Maceo Parker, with and without James Brown. He's a survivor, a mentor, a cherished all-star legend revered the world over, and we'll hear about his project, Abraham Incorporated, his colorful career with James Brown and George Clinton, and much more. It is a great honor to welcome Fred Wesley. Aloha, my brother. Thank you so much.
All right, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing? How you feeling?
Just fine, just fine.
I appreciate your time, Fred. Thanks for doing this.
Okay.
Much
All
respect.
right.
Before we get into the heavy, nasty funk, let's just do a quick island breakdown. You been to Hawaii before? What's your history with the islands?
I've been in Hawaii one time with Count Basie. We on our way back from Japan, we stopped in Hawaii, played a gig, and continued on back to San Francisco. But I always wanted to go. I have a friend there. He invites me there. I understand there's a lot of good people there. I want to come. I've never been.
Where's your friend live in Hawaii?
I beg your pardon?
Where does your friend live out here?
He lives on the island of Hana.
Maui. So he's on Maui.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, Hana, that's a very nice place. What a cool memory, though, to have come here. Share that story if you can remember, whatever details you can. When was that you stopped through and did that gig with Count Basie?
It was in 1978, but I don't remember the gig. I mean, I don't remember the details about the gig, but I remember it was just another Count Basie gig. You know, all the gigs were wonderful, but I don't remember which one that was, but it was fun. It was fun, I guarantee you.
That's cool, and that was the only time that you had been here?
The only time, yeah.
So you were heavily influenced. When you look at your life, music came to you in a lot of ways, it seems, through your father, a high school teacher, a big band leader. Did he start you on the piano and trumpet?
Actually, my grandmother started me on the piano, and in junior high school, I started on the trumpet under Mr. E.B. Coleman. My father was just there influencing my style, and my father had a great style, and he was a great piano player, but he didn't actually sit down and teach me a lot, but I learned a lot by just watching him, you know.
I do. I'm getting that. So your grandmother, let's put her back in the perspective here. So she's the one who got you started. What are those early memories, and why do you think she wanted you to do that?
Oh, she was a piano teacher, and some of my worst memories are sitting at the piano with her telling me to play the scale again and play that again, play this again. I hated the piano. I really didn't want to play the piano. You know? I mean, I love my grandmother, but she was a terror when she taught piano.
And what was the transformation to the trumpet? Was it simultaneously with the piano, or why the trumpet?
No. I was playing piano from 3 years old, you know. But and the trumpet came in junior high school. I would just I always wanted to play an instrument, a horn, because my father had horns in his band. Band used to rehearse in the living room at our house. From 3 years old all the way up to junior high school, I used to hear band rehearsing, you know, and I wanted to play one of those instruments. So trumpet is the one that I chose. I could have been a saxophone player. I didn't think too much about trombone, although I did love Mr. Freeman. He was a trombone player, the star of the band. You know, he had a gregarious style, and he was always laughing and played wild and crazy solos. You know, I always wanted to be like him, but I didn't really care too much for the trombone. I wanted to be a trumpet player, a saxophone player, something like that. So I ended up on trumpet in junior high school. I got the trombone when my father brought a trombone home one day and said, "Learn how to play this, and I'll let you play in the band." Mr. Freeman had moved on to another band, and my father needed a trombone in the band, so that was me.
And you sort of, am I guessing right that this guy's, as you say, wild and crazy performance that really commanded attention influenced your approach to it, because in a lot of ways you sort of became that dude on the trombone?
I think so. I think his style is sort of my style, because I really did like him, and he was loved by all the cats in the band and the audience. They loved to hear him play, and I don't play the notes that he played, but I do get the same reaction when I play,
No, you do, and I think the thing about it is you approach it like you're a star. You're going to you do these commanding sort of, I've seen it many times, my brother, right there in front of me, so there's a thing you do with it that gives it notoriety that otherwise it doesn't have. And when you described the way he approached it, I can just see, wow, I can see the connection.
He was a real cool guy,
A showman is the word we're missing. Yeah. That's what we should have been.
That's it. Showman.
Yeah. And speaking of showman, the early music gigs before you met James Brown, what was it that you were doing right before he became a part of your life?
Well, I was in the Army, and in the Army I had my own band, the Wesley Davis Master Sound, and we played some original tunes. We did some top 40 tunes, and it was a pretty good band. But after I got out of the Army started taking cats out of my band. They were young guys, and they were inducting people into the Army to go to Vietnam. And so about the same time that happened, that's when James Brown gig came along, and I took the gig because I wanted to continue to play music, but I didn't necessarily want to play in my hometown, Mobile, Alabama, in the South, where my area was, So I took the job to get out of the South, out of Mobile, and into a larger market where I could be discovered as the next great trombone player. That was my dream, but as you see, it didn't happen exactly like that.
How did you actually meet him?
I was introduced to James Brown by Wayman Reed, a trumpet player that I had met in Mobile. He came to Mobile with a circus, and the circus only had two people in the band, and so he hired some local people to play with the band, and I was one of those that he had, and he liked the way I played, and I liked the way he played. He used to come to the jam sessions on the weekend. The circus stayed in town for 2 or 3 weeks, and so he remembered me, and when James Brown needed a trombone player, he called me up, and he introduced me to it.
That's a crucial introduction in your life, I would say. When you
turned out to be.
Yeah, it did. It did turn out to be. In what ways do you think, Fred, that you impacted, when you look back at this point in your life, the ways that you impacted James Brown's sound?
Well, James Brown, he didn't know exactly what he wanted, but he knew he wanted something different, And I think my strength with him was I was able to give him that different thing that he wanted. He would say, "Give me some kind of interlude right here, and voice this for me, and give me some harmony for this thing." And I would try to do something different every time, And I think that's what he liked about me, and I think that's how I impacted his music, because everything he asked of me to do, I try to do something different with it,
It served a purpose there. Certainly when I think of records like Payback or Hell, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think Goodfoot, when I was one of our great creations, Get on the Good Foot, and Damn Right I'm Somebody, those were what I consider really important works, because we actually worked it out with each other. It was James Brown's ideas, but the way I put them together made it instrumental and solid the way he wanted this to be,
At what point on that exact note of what you just said did you realize that you and Maceo had chemistry?
Well, you know, me and Maceo had chemistry from the jump because I found out, although he was from North Carolina and I'm from Alabama, that we were listening at the same people at the same time. You know, he was in school and he was listening to Ray Charles and John Coltrane and Lee Morgan, and so was I. You know, so we had a connection from the beginning. You know, so we've been friends from day one. From the first time we met till now, you know, we've been tight buddies, you know.
You guys are a pair, and he is actually coming our way. That's what inspired me to reach out and do this interview so I can use a little bit of it during the piece about his tour that he's doing. What's the story with working with him? When did you guys last work together? And talk a little bit about the magic that occurs when you're together.
Well, you know, Maceo Parker and P.V. Ellis also, we worked together just October the 6th in New York City. We had a reunion of the Roots Revisited band. You know, it was for Larry Goldens on keyboard, Rodney Jones on guitar, Bill Stewart on drums. And that was the original Roots Revisited band. And we added Christian McBride on bass this time. But we did a show at Town Hall in New York City, and the magic was still there. We had a one short rehearsal, and everything fell in place, you know?
That is something else. I remember seeing you, one of my all-time favorite concerts of my entire life. Of all the stuff I've ever seen, I would have to always count. It was the Labor Day weekend of 1994. You were playing in Boston at Sculler's Jazz Club, and it was the two of you guys. Man, oh man, it was so ferocious. I have a recording of it, too. A really good DAT recording. Oh, brother.
Oh, I would love to have a copy of that.
Would you? Would you like to have a copy of that? I will work that out. I will work out with Joya. I will get you a nice, like a 2 CD copy. I'll mail that thing to you. It would be an honor. It would be a great.
Thank you very much. I would love to have that. Yeah.
You are quite welcome. It was. You had this chick came out of the crowd. You brought this woman out of the crowd to sing a Marvin Gaye song just spontaneously. I mean, there was just
really?
Yeah, it was the good stuff, my brother. And that'll be a nice thing to send you. Another one of my favorite cats that you got to work with. Actually, you worked with George Clinton. And take us to first, if you can remember, first meeting George, and share how you guys ended up working together.
Oh, you know, that was a trip. George Clinton and most of the band came to my room. I was still with James in New York, and with Bootsy. You know, Bootsy hooked us up with that. And he told me that he wanted some arrangements, some really fresh horn arrangements, you know. So meeting George and finding out that he was human, you know, he wasn't an alien, as I thought he was. Because I had never met him before, so I didn't understand that he was a real innovative type musical person, you know, that I could get along with real good.
Right.
But he's another guy that is one of my best friends, and I love him to death. And we met and we hit it off real good, and we still work together today sometimes. Is
he easy to get a hold of? I've always wanted to interview him. It's been so hard to ever reach out and get that guy on the phone.
I'll put you in touch with him.
Will you?
He's got some. His lady ask Joey to do that. Joey to do that.
I will. I definitely will. Yeah, he had some crucial people in the band, and you're so good at recognizing talent and strengths maybe that people bring to things. I'm just curious, a couple of people who have passed and just what you think of their work. Gary Scheider, do you remember Diaper Man Gary?
Oh, Gary Scheider, quiet as it kept. Not only was he a great singer, but he was one of the best guitar players that I know. You know, he was an excellent guitar player and a good friend, another good friend. But he was multi-talented. He used to write great songs and sing and play great guitar.
I always Cosmic Slop. I hear my mother call. I can hear my mother call. I can.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Those lyrics, brother. They're just so heavy now that he's gone. Sometimes.
Yeah.
How about?
I introduced him to his wife. Yeah.
Say that again.
I introduced him to his wife, Linda.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he is a heavy cat. He is he was very, very special man. I got to meet him a couple times, and I saw him many, many times, and that's he was another guy that you worked with like him who's gone. I always wondered what you thought of Eddie Hazel. What was that all about?
I didn't work with Eddie Hazel too much. I came after he was in the band.
So
I met him.
Okay.
I knew him, but I didn't work with him too much. But what I heard of him, he was one of the greatest guitar players in the world. Really, you could compare him with Jimi Hendrix, any guitar player. He was great. He was especially funk guitar. He could play guitar as well as anybody in the world.
Yeah, those are a couple guys that I didn't know that you didn't have. So you never actually got on stage with him, huh? It was. We were at different times in George's thing.
We might have been on stage together once or twice, but
okay.
we didn't actually work together.
I get it. Yeah, there's a lot of cats in that operation.
Oh yeah,
a whole lot of them. Bernie Worrell, is that a friend of yours?
Oh yeah, Bernie is
the architect.
Very creative person. He plays any keyboard you can name, he can play it, and very creative with it. He's a great musician, a great person too.
You're a man of funk, as you can tell from the kind of people we've been discussing, and it's taken you to new projects that I'm curious how Abraham Incorporated came into your life and what it does in terms of an outlet for your music today.
David Krakauer and Sokol, they were sitting in a hotel room together hatching up ideas, and my name came up. I'm down here in South Carolina, totally oblivious to what was going on. But they contacted me, and I met with them, and they had this crazy idea about combining funk and klezmer and hip-hop together. I said, what are you talking about, And so I listened at the album they had done, klezmer hip-hop. So that was kind of interesting, And they kept talking about adding some funk to it, some horns and some solos, And I said, okay, well, let's try it, So we did. We tried it, and it worked. It worked real good. We're working on a new album right now, but the first album was great. I think it was really good. In my estimate. Have you heard it yet?
I've taken a listen to a couple of the tracks that I've been able to hear online at the YouTube, and I think that it's absolutely strange, the mix of these things.
Yeah, you should hear the whole thing. It's kind of different, but I think it really works. Real entertaining, and it's got a lot of elements to it. That I'm sure you could pick something out you like, but I like the whole thing.
How are you going to take it? Is it going to be more the same direction when you talk about continuing working with these cats and building this? What is your goal, really?
Well, actually, my goal now, we haven't had the full album completed yet, but. My part is I'm gonna try to do some klezmer tunes, funky in a funky way. Now did this first album we kind of put together. We did some klezmer tunes, funky, and some funky tunes with a little klezmer in it. But I'm gonna take a klezmer tune and take a tune and take it totally funky this time. And we did some tunes that were totally my tunes, and some tunes that were totally David tunes, and tunes were totally Sokol's tunes, But this time we're gonna try to mix even more of a mix, because I'm gonna do klezmer funky, and Sokol's gonna try to do hip hop, klezmer, and funky. We're gonna come up with the true formula in a few minutes, but a few days, a few months, But we're going to mix it even more than we did the last time.
When on that same exact note, it's ironic you're also doing this project, or you did a project. I don't know if you're still doing stuff with these funky Israelis, the Apples. What's that all about?
Yeah, that was just
one-off kind of deal,
one-time thing, because they just wanted me to do some solos and listen at that tune and add what I could to it, But we never really worked together. But they had some interesting stuff, They kind of copied the horns that I did, and added to it, Naturally, they add their own thing into it, but they based it off of what I had done with Parliament and James Brown. But It's interesting stuff, the albums, yeah.
So aside from Abraham Incorporated, which we're obviously going to keep a lookout for and strongly try to support in any way we can as you come up with new music on that, in addition to that, is there any other project on your radar that's important to you that you'd like to give a little spotlight to before we wrap it up?
We have reached back and got an album. We're calling it the Lost Album. It's the JBs and Fred Wesley. It's a new release on Universal. It's some tunes that I recorded with James Brown, for James Brown, back in 1972. It was during the time I could really play the trombone. So check that out. It's called the JBs and Fred Wesley, the Lost Album. Watermelon Man is the name of the album. I think Watermelon Man was the final title. So you can check that out, too. But it was done in 1972.
Wow, right before the Payback, basically, era. Kind of to get on the good foot.
But it was an album that James did for me. James said, you want to do some jazz, huh? Well, we're going to do some jazz for you. So it's some jazz on there. But it's some funk, too. And, all my albums have jazz and funk on them, because I'm into that now. I do jazz, funky, and funk jazz.
Yes, you do.
So Maceo say he does 98% funk, 2% jazz. PB does 2% jazz. 2% funk and 90% jazz, and I do 50-50. So it's all mixed up. But check that album out too.
I will definitely do that, and it means a lot that you took the time to talk to me, and I hope that this was an interesting interview with you, brother.
Well, thank you very much. I've enjoyed talking to you too.
You're the man, Fred. I'm giving you a big hug. I'm going to reach out to Joya. I'll send you a nice 2-CD set of you live with Maceo at Scullers Jazz Club in Boston in 1994.
Thank you very much.
Dude, it is my pleasure. And if you don't mind, I will ask her if she can try to hook me with the George Clinton camp. Yeah. That would mean a lot.
She'll do it. She'll hook you up.
And I'll take good care of him.
All right.
You be safe. A hug, a high five. You ever come out here or you ever need anything, brother, you guys know how to reach me. I'm here for you. You are a huge inspiration. I love the music you have brought the world, Fred. I just give you another hug, another high five. I want nothing but good things for you and yours, bro.
Same to you, okay?
Be safe, bro.
All right, bye-bye.
Aloha.